combined, I am
The realist Theo with a coach interview.
I know a guy. Just hook me up with this bad boy.
Hello everyone, Theo here, and today I am back with another coach interview. This time around we are joined by HawkTheWanderer, coach of the Island Dragons. Hawk, thank you for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I'm just gonna ask you a series of questions. We'll kind of get to know your thoughts about the league in general, and I definitely want to talk about your team as well. So first off, you are the coach of the Island Dragons, and did you intentionally go into this league thinking that you're going to draft a dragon-heavy team? This is the question for the people.
No, I expected to draft maybe one or two, but I ended up drafting three, and it kind of backfired a bit at the beginning.
You think so? Did you actually feel like it did backfire?
Just a tad. I think I would have had more options if I didn't have three dragons.
I mean, I think you did pretty well in terms of, I mean, you didn't have any matching types besides dragon, and I would even consider Charizard a dragon just for anime purposes.
True.
Yeah, I mean, it was very spicy. I think during our coach the admin collaboration video, we talked about you drafting all these dragons, being true to your name, and that being pretty spicy. You did recently trade one of your dragons away, though. I noticed you traded away your Dragonite.
I did. It was hard. I did not want to do it, but I had to do it.
Yeah, it's a really good Pokemon. What were your thoughts? What was your general thought process for that trade?
Well, I didn't have a lot, in my mind, enough special attackers, and Milotic was the perfect choice for me to move a special attacker in who can really take damage. So
yeah, Milotic is definitely bulky, and it gets access to that competitive ability, which is so good. I think that was a pretty strong switch here, because otherwise your only other water type looks to be Celio. I think that was a good call. The other thing I was wondering is, you've played 3 matches, or have you played 2 matches so far?
3 matches now.
3 matches, okay. So the thing I've been wondering, for the people, Tapu Lele, telepathy. Have you only been running telepathy? Because we didn't get to see that first game.
First match I was running Psychic Surge, but telepathy seemed to work with Hitmontop better in week 2, and I kept it going in week 3 for more Hitmontop.
Yeah, and you also had the synergy with the Garchomp Earthquake as well, which was pretty smart. Yeah, we don't see telepathy Tapu Lele very often. Obviously, Psychic Surge is the more popular ability, but it's cool to see it. It's cool to see it played out and used, and it's something that happens a lot in draft league format, where things that aren't typically ladder proven get run in draft, and that's what I wanted to ask you about as well. So this is your first draft league experience with the in total, I believe. What do you think of the draft format? Are you enjoying it? What are your thoughts?
I'm having an absolute blast. This is the most fun I've had playing Pokemon in a while.
That's awesome.
I've been in some tournaments. They're always fun, but this one is just, it makes me think a lot more, and I get to see a lot more fun things and learn more, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of versatility, and you get to use Pokemon you wouldn't normally use, and I think Sam had the same thought, coach of the Dice Roll Drillbers last season. He was same thing. He had competed, or he was into competitive, and then it kind of died out a little bit, and the draft format, sparked that urge to battle again, or brought back that love. Yeah, for sure. What other tournaments have you competed in?
So I competed in the Kanto Classic over at Ruby's Isle, and I had a lot of fun with that. I made the I made the bracket, the final bracket. I did lose in the first round, but I came
Yeah, you
pretty
made
close.
it though. That's the hardest part.
I did make it.
Yeah, just make it bracket. Yeah.
And a friend of mine has done a couple mono-type tournaments where I pick dragons, and I do really well in those. I've come pretty close to winning both times.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So this isn't the first time for you then, as the Island Dragons. You've been a dragon team before.
That's right.
That's awesome. So that's a couple tournaments here. Were they both VGC? Well, Kanto Classic was definitely VGC. I was a part of that. What about the other?
Yes.
The monotype was also VGC?
Yes, the first monotype was before the DLCs came out, so I had much less versatility for my team. But when the DLC came out, I had a lot more fun with dragons because they could really put up a much better fight because of some of the ones that came out with the DLC.
Yeah, I don't even remember what dragons were. What did you use prior to the DLC stuff?
So it was like Dragalia, Gudra, Duraludon, Oxorus, Dragapult.
Oh, right.
And...
How could I forget about Dragapult?
Yeah, Dragapult's the best. I should have drafted him too. Yeah. And it's gonna bug me. I can't remember the last one.
Got a good amount there. Haxorus I like a lot.
I like Haxorus a lot. He's got so much physical attack. One of the better physical attacks.
He hits hard. He doesn't have a large move pool, but I mean, what was it, like base 145 attack or something?
Yeah,
something
right.
Base 147.
140,
yeah,
145.
something crazy. Yeah. I like Haxorus a lot. Yeah. So far this draft, and I'm really happy you're a part of this. I'm happy that we have such a wide variety of draft league experience this season, which is crazy, and it's really enjoyable. Last season we only had, I believe only the admin team were experienced a draft. Everyone else, it was their first draft. So this time, this time around, we have a lot of first timers, including yourself, and we have a lot of really experienced draft players. Off the top of my head, I think of some of our newer guys as well. I think of like the Grim Snarls and the Arcanines, who are really experienced with draft, and also Raz from our last coach interview. So you've played against Greedy Greninjas or Sasori. You've played against Pittsburgh Steel types or Rhett. And you've played against Dice Roll Drillburs or Ruby T, Sam. Which was the hardest matchup for you think?
Probably Rhett. He had almost everything to counter my team, and I really had to do some team building. I even did some thinking out with another one of our draftees in the Fifth Leaf. He really tried to help me out, and I came up with a good strategy, but he did beat me.
He did beat you. They were close. They were close battles, though. You kept it pretty tight both games. It was 0-2, but they were close games. Yeah. So and Red is just he's a good battler.
No, they're great. All three of my opponents have been great, and they're all genuinely nice people. Despite kicking my butt, they're all like, "Wow, you did great. You did awesome." And everyone's been super nice, and it makes it even more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everyone's really cool. Everyone's really positive. Same thing last season. We just have a really good community, I feel like, with the VBA. And I think it's going to continue going that way. And I'm really excited for the rest of the season and seasons going forward as well. I think, so you mentioned you build with Leaf. I believe you and Fifth Leaf are pretty good friends as well, IRL. Yep. And and you guys are actually playing this season. You are playing week 6. Are you looking forward to it? What are your thoughts?
I'm a little nervous. Don't tell him.
Well, he's gonna hear it.
I know. He's really good. He's always he's kind of the one who taught me initially how to be a competitive Pokemon player. Like, he showed me all the tips and tricks back in the day. And, you know, he's running a really fun set that I'm really gonna have to think about, and not gonna have many people to bounce options off
Yeah,
of.
that's true. I mean, don't feel. I feel a lot of people are open to helping folks with opinions, with team building and whatnot. So definitely feel free to reach out to anyone. You can reach out to me if you want to. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you guys, he got you into competitive. When did you get into competitive?
Around X and Y was when I was starting my competitive journey.
Okay. And I don't remember from your coach intro, what was your favorite generation again?
I said the Diamond Pearl era.
Okay.
Like, it was between that and Gold and Silver, but it was Diamond and Pearl.
I don't think I've ever played through Diamond Pearl, so maybe I'll do it for this remake. I started with
I think you should.
yeah, I think it's the perfect timing for it, right? So I started with Gold, Silver, Crystal, and then I jumped from that to X and Y, and yeah, there was a huge learning curve going into X and Y, but I mean, I love it, so you know, here I am. Yeah. Let's see.
I may be dating myself, but I did get Blue when it came out as a 7-year-old kid. So.
Nice. So you're just a couple years older than me then, I think. So yeah, Blue. When did Blue come out? I don't even remember. Was it 91? No.
It was like 96, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
96 or 97.
Yeah. I never got the first gen games. Gosh, but that wasn't. that was like a different thing. That I started. Yeah, totally different thing. So let's see. Are you familiar with any of the other coaches besides the fifth leaf in the VBA?
Not really. Like, I've talked to a handful of guys on the Discord, and Popo. I know Popo pretty well, actually. He's run some of the tournaments that I've been in,
okay, cool.
in the past. You know, just small IRL people getting together and playing Pokemon.
There's nothing like IRL people.
No, they're weird.
So you're actually playing Popo's week 8. Yeah, and he had a crazy way of drafting his team as well, I believe. So you have your Dragon team, and then you have Popo's stream viewer teams. Yeah, are you worried about that matchup at all?
Oh yeah, he's a really good player. Probably better than me, more experienced than me. So I'm not going to go in thinking, oh, he drafted his teams like that, I'm going to beat him. No, of course not. He's a really good player, so I'm a little worried.
Yeah, he definitely knows what he's doing. So let's see here. So you've only made one season transaction so far. Uh-oh. Is there something in the pipeline? You want to spoil it for everyone?
No, I'm not sure which one I'm doing, but I got some ideas.
Yeah. So I see your lower tier Pokemon. You drafted Cottony, Klinklang, Rabbitash, Galarian Rapidash, Celio, and Unfezant. Let's see. What was your thought process with the Rapidash? Why did you go that route?
Well, I know Rapidash has a pretty good attack and speed pool, and I like his ability that allows him so you and your teammates can't get poisoned. So I thought that might come in handy at some point, so I put him in my back pocket for later. Okay.
And the Celio pick I was really surprised about too. I mean, you don't have to spoil anything, but give us a little bit.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought Celio knew some moves that he didn't end up knowing. So it kind of was like, Celio, what are you doing, bro?
That happens. All right, so should I be expecting a Celio switch out soon? A Celio transaction?
Possibly.
All right. And I really like the Dragalge pick, or Dragalge.
Yeah, I can barely pronounce it either.
Yeah, I think that's a really good Pokemon. It definitely has its niches, but it hits hard. And
He hits hard, and I have a couple spicy builds
Really?
I have for like
Okay.
future teams.
So we'll look out for that. The spicy builds with the Dragalge. That'll be good. Let's see. Milotic you just picked up, and Milotic did hit the field against Sam, the Dice Roll Drillbers.
Yep.
It was your main Dynamax target as well. What was your thought process going into the match against Sam?
So in game 1, I was going to use him just primary special attacker, play game 1 more cautiously than game 2. And in game 2, I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to go for this. So I threw out Klinklang with him, and I was going to Volt Switch Klinklang into my Lodix weakness policy.
Okay.
But he killed Klinklang really
I remember
quick,
that.
'cause he knew something was up.
He was scared of the Klinklang, and
Yeah, he knew something was up.
I was surprised that the Klinklang even got one shot. I believe it was one shot.
He was one shot. They helping handed into the max knuckle.
Yeah, that's crazy to me that KO, because Klinklang is pretty bulky. Gmax Charizard as well. Have you brought the Gmax Charizard yet?
I have. I brought him week 2, and I wasn't gonna run Sun with him week 2, and I didn't. It was more of a, I'm gonna trick you into thinking I am.
Nice.
And the Gmax Wildfire was for Mudsdale, and it was doing damage game 2, but he maxed that, and I made a play mistake, and it really took me down. So
that's okay. That's all right.
yeah,
it always happens. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I find that when the first few battles with your draft team are typically pretty rough.
Yes.
I think once we hit that halfway mark in the season, that's when you really know, you start to know your team, and you start to know what each piece is supposed to do. And then it really starts to synergize, and I think you'll start to catch on with the team as you go on. But obviously, I am expecting a couple more trades from you this season. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen, especially after the Celio explanation. Yeah. Hey. And then Cottony is a really good Pokemon with that prankster ability. You have a very interesting team. You have a lot of stuff that it hits really hard. And you have a pretty fast team too. Aside from draft, you mentioned that you did previous competitions. Were you ever into showdown, like single showdown a lot, or have you only really done doubles and VGC stuff?
So the first ever tournament I did was a singles tournament. It was back in X and Y. I was running a steel type team because there was another mono tournament. That's how I started.
Okay.
Mono tournaments. And I don't know, it was a lot of fun. I came pretty close in that one too. I've never gone first place. Got pretty close in these mono tournaments. It makes you think. But
Bridesmaid, but never the bride.
Exactly.
Yeah. Have you run any other mono types besides Steel and Dragon?
Nope, those were my main 2. I thought about doing other ones, but when I just come back to it, I just know those 2 types better than the others that I've thought about.
You'll have to run a fairy mono type team now and just complete the Dragon Fairy Steel.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Because I know how to beat fairies with dragons. Gotta figure the other way around.
All right. Is there, looking at your schedule, which team are you most scared of playing, and why?
So it's probably the Fifth Leaf, because he knows me the best, and he's got a really spicy team. Like, I think he's going to be the toughest opponent I'm going to face, because he knows how I play.
Yep.
And so I'm gonna have to really think outside
Oh
the
yeah,
box.
I was just talking to another coach, and I was saying like, yeah, when you're going against someone that you team build with, it's so difficult because they know how you build and they know how you play. So you
Yep.
really have to think outside of the box. I think that'll be a really fun match. I'm excited for. I'm expecting.
Oh, I'm excited
Yeah,
too. I'm excited for them all. That's the one I know I'm gonna
for
struggle
sure,
with.
for sure. Yeah, Leaf has a really interesting team, really unique, spicy team. So yeah, that'll definitely be a fun matchup to watch. Are there? Let's see, is there anyone else besides Leaf? Any other team that you find potentially threatening against yours?
Well, it would be the Pittsburgh Steel types,
Oh,
but they already beat me,
okay.
so
All right, so that means you heard it here, folks. Hawk's gonna take everyone else out going forward. He's gonna take out the Corpus Christi Crabbies. He's gonna take out the Great Lakes Grimmsnarls, the Sandstone Scissors, the Royals, the Fuchsia City Royals. You heard that right, Popos. You heard it. You heard it here. And he's certainly gonna take out the Gardner Guzzlords and also the Alexandria Arcanines. So watch out. Watch out, folks. All right. And Hawk, outside of the VBA, where are you from?
so I'm from Massachusetts originally, but I currently reside in the Virgin Islands.
Oh, okay. Like,
Hence the Island Dragon.
you know what? It's all coming together. I get it now. I get it. Are you there? You there long term or just?
I'm there long term. Some stuff went down in Mass. My parents were already living there. Moved down, get a job as a cook, and been good
Awesome.
ever since.
That's great. When did you move down there?
About 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Oh,
in
okay. So
October.
you're settled. You're okay.
Yeah.
Island. It all makes
It's
sense
great.
now. It all makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What type of restaurant do you work in?
So I was working at a friend's restaurant, and we did brunch for a very long time. And then the pandemic hit, and we couldn't have dine-in, so we switched to Chinese food. Because the island doesn't have a lot of restaurants that cook Chinese. And
Interesting. So you guys switched from brunch to just that's a big change.
Super big, and like I know how to cook a lot of Chinese food, like from scratch, and it's all really good.
Yeah. So the Virgin Islands are technically the U.S. Is the brunch there about what you get in the rest of the mainland U.S., I guess, like eggs, sausage, bacon, that dealio? Is there anything unique about the brunch or breakfast in the Virgin Islands?
Well, it really depends on where you go. Like generally it's a normal place. You get eggs and sausage, bacon, all the stuff you get at a brunch. Or you can go to some of the more local eateries where it's more fish-based
interesting.
or seafood-based. But a lot of places down there, even non-local, do seafood because it's cheaper down there.
That's awesome.
So.
Yeah. What kind of I mean, I'm a big seafood guy. If seafood's expensive up here though, so yeah, I don't get a chance to indulge in seafood too often. But when I can, I try. I love seafood, and yeah, that's awesome. That's so cheap down there. Well, it makes sense. You're in the island, so much more easily accessible.
Yeah, so it's easier to get some things. I will say lobster is very different from here than in Massachusetts.
So?
Lobsters in St. Croix, Virgin Islands, do not have claws.
All right, Mr. Google, let's take a peek here.
It sounds crazy, but it's
Lobsters, Virgin Islands. Is that real? Caribbean spiny lobster? Is that what you're talking about? Or is... All right, let's take a peek here. Whoa, that's wild. That's wild. Wow. So your lobster rolls don't have claw meat in it then?
Nope, it's all tail and guts.
Oh yes. For those that don't know, lobster guts and crab guts, amazingly delicious. Add it in whenever you have a seafood dish. You add in the guts. You add in the guts and the brains, and that slurry, it adds so much flavor. And yeah, it's really amazing. I know when I talk about it with some of my friends, like when my parents make lobster, they use the guts, and I'll tell my friends about it, and they're just they're so grossed out. But man, it just it hits a whole new level. It's so great.
It does. It really
Yes. You heard it here, folks. This is the coach interview, aka the cooking show with Theo and Hawk.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. And then you switch to Chinese food. That blows my mind. But I'm guessing Americanized Chinese food.
Yes, Americanized Chinese food. We looked into some fun recipes that were not necessarily Americanized, but in the end, we just came back to the Americanized stuff, and with the occasional
it's easier because you can just make like one single, was it like a house sauce, and then kind of tweak it a little bit. Yeah,
we had like 2 or 3 house sauces for 2 or 3 different dishes.
Awesome,
So,
are there a lot of Asians in the Virgin Island?
No, not really. Like there are the locals speak Spanish for the most part, or English. Like that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Like it's Spanish and English. You don't see many people that you don't see many Asian people. It's mostly African American and Caucasian.
Okay. And now that the pandemic is, well, actually, I shouldn't jump ahead. So up here in Massachusetts, the pandemic guidelines are starting to lessen or become less strict. Is it the same there, or what's going on over there?
So we've always, as soon as it hit, we've always had the mask mandate, and no one really was bothered by it. They're like, "Oh, okay, we'll just put this on and go get our stuff, get it out of the way." It's kind of how the Virgin Islands are. Everyone's just laid back and doesn't really want to fight over something silly or what is perceived to be silly. And that's the big one, is the masks. Like that's still going on. You can still dine in. You can dine in again.
Oh, that's okay, fine. Cool. So that started up again.
But tourism isn't quite back yet. So
okay.
And that's one of the ways that most restaurants make money through tourism.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think hopefully the tourism goes back up once people start going on planes again more frequently and easily. Right. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, once the cooler months come around, I'm expecting more tourism this year.
Okay. Yeah. So. You've been a cook for? Have you been a cook for 3 years then, or were you a cook up here in Massachusetts as well?
Well, I was a dishwasher up here in Massachusetts, and I started again in dishwashing at my friend's restaurant. But he's like, you can do more than just dishwash. So I started prepping, started doing some cooking, and now I'm just primarily a prep cook type guy.
Awesome.
So it took me about 1.5 years to really get talented, but I have the skills now.
Yeah, dude, you should come back up here so you can cook for me. Bring one of those get
everyone together.
Yeah, for sure.
Chinese.
Well, as long as you bring one of those spiny clawless lobsters up here. Yeah, I want to try that. Are they sweeter than like the Maine lobsters?
I'd say the Maine lobsters are sweeter, but I like the consistency of these lobsters down in St. Croix a little better.
How's the consistency different?
Well, it doesn't feel as chewy. It's more like a normal meat, not just like a
Interesting. Wow. And then are you guys, I'm not a geography whiz, are you guys close to the Caribbean or no?
So we're a 30-minute flight south of Puerto Rico.
That's pretty.
So you can, there's a big circle of islands, and they're not far to get from each other.
Cool. Do you guys? I'm thinking like of Caribbean food. If you guys have a lot of Caribbean influence in your food there.
Yes, like there's a lot of Jamaican spice.
Okay.
In a lot of the foods. So, like, some restaurants are like exclusively like Jamaican meat spice stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's all very
really
spicy.
good.
I'm guessing.
It's very spicy, but it's
Yeah,
very
for sure,
tasty.
for
They
sure.
do
I
a
believe
great
it.
job.
They have. I'm guessing. Well, what do I know? Caribbean food. I really like patties. Jamaican patties. There used to be actually there might still be a place. It was, oh gosh, what was it called? It's called Cammy's Bakery, and they served is it Jamaican food? Well, either way, I used to go there all the time for my lunch break and just grab patties. I grabbed the fish patty, the beef patty. Yeah, I don't know what type of fish they use, but it was really good, and I love that. Yeah, I don't know. I should head to that area sometime. Maybe I'll be a tourist.
Hey, it'd be great. I'd say if you have the opportunity, come, because you'll have a
Sounds
blast.
good to me. Sounds good to me. So let's see, Hawk. We've talked about the VBA. Now we know a little bit more about you, where you are, I guess, not where you're from. Is there anything you want to say to the coaches before I let you go?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm having a great time, and you're teaching me a lot. So I'd say
You heard it
next
here,
season,
folks. You
better
heard it
look
here.
out
He's
for me.
calling you out, Popos. He's calling you out. And oh yeah, one other thing I wanted to ask you. So there's a podcast I listen to where they ask their interviewee what they have in the trunk of their car at this current moment, and they believe that it tells a lot about the person and where they are in life currently. So let me ask you, Hawk the Wanderer, if you are wandering around within a car in a vehicular device, what is in the trunk of that vehicular device? What?
Chairs.
Okay.
Beach
Is that it?
chairs.
Just beach chairs?
Beach chairs. And
Okay.
I think
All right.
there's
All
a
right.
jacket
Well,
there.
so now we know what Hawk has in the trunk of his car. He's clearly very laid back from that answer, and he likes his beach time. And with that, I think what we'll do is we'll cut off this interview. Hawk, thank you for joining us, the people of the VBA, and our viewers, whoever they may be, all three of them. Welcome. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview, and thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us.